Episode 4: The Babylonian Empire and Laws of Hammurabi. Today we visit the famous city of Babylon because after the Akkadians, a new power began to rise in central Mesopotamia. So we will learn how the Babylonians created a great city of laws and science that people still remember today. Babylon was a small city located on the banks of the Euphrates River because it was a perfect place for trade and farming. So over time, it became the most important city in the region and the center of a new, wealthy empire. The most famous leader of Babylon was King Hammurabi because he was a very organized ruler and a brilliant general. So he led his army to unite all of Mesopotamia under his control and made Babylon the capital of his world. Hammurabi is famous for creating one of the first written laws in history because he wanted everyone in his empire to follow the same rules. So he wrote 282 laws to make sure that justice was fair for all people. The stone stele. The laws were carved onto a giant black stone called a stele because Hammurabi wanted the laws to be permanent and visible to everyone. So this stone was placed in a public area where even people who could not read knew the king's rules. One of the most famous parts of the law was an eye for an eye. The punishment was often the same as the crime. So, if someone hurt another person, they were punished in the exact same way to keep order in the city. Hammurabi's laws were very strict, but they were also fair because they protected the weak from the strong. So the laws included rules to help widows, children, and poor people, so they would not be treated unfairly by the rich. The Babylonians were excellent scientists and mathematicians because they studied the movements of the stars and the planets every night. So they created a very accurate calendar that helped farmers know when to plant their crops. The calendar and time. The Babylonians used math based on the number 60 because it was easy to divide into parts. So this is the reason why we still use 60 seconds in a minute and 360 degrees in a circle today. Babylon became a global center for business because the city was located between many different lands. So merchants traveled long distances to exchange gold, silver, and spices for Babylonian grains and beautiful textiles. The Babylonians built massive temples called Ziggurats because they wanted to be closer to their gods in the sky. So these tall buildings could be seen from many miles away and showed the great wealth of the empire. Legend says that Babylon had beautiful hanging gardens. A king wanted to make his wife happy with green plants from her home, so it became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, full of trees and flowers. Many stories describe a very tall tower in Babylon, called the Tower of Babel. The people wanted to build a structure that reached the clouds. So this famous story shows how ambitious and skilled the Babylonian builders were. Life in the city was very busy. Thousands of people lived inside the tall city walls. So while some people were farmers, many others became skilled craftsmen, doctors, or government officials to serve the king. After Hammurabi died, the empire began to grow weak. There were internal problems and attacks from other groups. So, eventually, other empires took control of the land. But the laws and science of Babylon lived on. The Babylonians created a civilization of law and order because of the leadership of King Hammurabi. They gave the world the first written laws and advanced math systems. So their ideas shape the way we live and organize our societies today. What was an eye for an eye? A type of Babylonian medicine. B, a law where the punishment fits the crime. C. A game played in the city of Babylon. D. A way to study the stars. You have finished the fourth lesson about the Babylonian Empire. In our next lesson, we will explore the powerful and brave Assyrian Empire. Thank you for choosing Polaris Academy, and keep learning with us.